Welcome back to another episode of Local Search Tuesdays. This week I've got another awesome presentation to share with you. This time from Brighton SEO. Brighton SEO is my favorite conference series, and it happens every spring and every fall, and I always speak at both. I've been speaking at both for a decade now, and I also always teach the local SEO training class the day before the conference. I was over in the UK last week for another round of Brighton SEO, and this time I did an interesting presentation about using product management for SEO. Check it out. This is product management, the secret to being an SEO superhero. I'm Greg. You know me because you're watching this on my video series, but just in case this is your first time watching, I am the Chief Operating Officer at Search Lab Digital. I have an awesome weekly video series called Local Search Tuesdays that you're watching right now. You can check it out on our blog or follow us on socials. We always share links to it. There's a goofy picture of me speaking at MozCon a few years back. I'm lucky enough to get to speak at conferences all over the world about SEO and digital marketing. And, you know, sometimes they put salespeople up on stage at some of these conferences that are just not great presenters. And not only are they not great presenters and they stand locked behind the podium, they typically just read their own slides because they're not really familiar with them. So you just kind of see the back of their head the whole time. And there's no design element to any of the slides. It's just a plain white background with black Arial font. And they pack every slide with bullet points and just read bullet points the whole time. And that's not only really painful to sit through and listen to, it's a scientifically proven fact that bullet points kill kittens. So we're going to keep all the kitties safe this time around. And you saw the superhero reference there at the beginning. I am an absolute movie nut. I've got movie tattoos on both arms and one of my legs. I'm about to start on the other leg. I was a film major in college. I have a ton of movies in my iTunes library. I see a movie in the theaters almost every week. So I love to share my love of movies with my love of SEO. So there's always a theme. Today's theme is superhero movies. We've got at least one superhero movie for every year in the last 50 years. And there are 92 total references. So some of the older things you're not going to know. So I do have attribution to the side. So you can check them out if you feel like it when you're done. So let's get it going. Why the long face? Are you spending too much time looking up at the competition, ranking higher in search results? You don't have to have a big brain to succeed in SEO. Even though a lot of times it seems like smoke and magic, it's really not. Today I'm here with some hot tips to help you be better at what you do so you can crush the competition and kick ass for your clients. So everybody always talks about SEO strategy and tactics, but hardly anybody really talks about how to deliver SEO as a viable product or service to clients. And that's a really key element to being successful because most agencies really just start doing SEO without really thinking about what they're doing or why they're doing it or how they're different from the competition. And there's no planning, there's no process. They just kind of start doing SEO because, hey, it's SEO. We all know how to do SEO. And there's no thought about the competition and what the competition is doing and what you have to sell against and why you're better than the competition. And you're delivering SEO to clients without any general requirements of what you're doing other than, hey, we're optimizing some content and getting you some links or a roadmap of your SEO service. Because most people just think, hey, I already know how to do SEO, so how hard is it to do SEO? But it's actually incredibly hard if you want to scale and win in the long term. And I'm going to talk about product management today, but that's not the same as project management. A lot of people think they're the same, but they're not. Project management is managing a product that's already established. It already exists. So you take a project or a product that already has all the parameters in place and already exists, and you're just managing that product or project. Product management is responsible for the entire lifestyle or life cycle of a product from conception to finish. You can't deliver a quality product if you don't have product management in place. And you can't come up with a scalable process if you don't have product management. And there's tons of agencies and tons of freelancers that do SEO. So you've got a lot of competition. And if you're not unique, it's going to be a lot harder to attract clients. And if you don't get good results for the clients that you're working with, it's hard to keep those clients. And most SEOs will typically tell clients, hey, you're too embedded in your site. You've got those blinders on. So take a step back from your site and look at your site like you're a noob that's never bought this product or service before ever in their life. How easy is it to find the answers you're looking for? So, how often have we as SEOs taken a step back and looked at ourselves like noobs that don't know how to do SEO or how to deliver services to clients? Not many, right? So, think about, why do you do SEO the way that you do SEO? Why is your agency set up the way that it's set up? Why are your processes the processes that you have? Or if you're a freelancer, why are you doing things the way that you're doing things? It's time to take a step back and think about how you actually operate. Even if you're already established, this is still going to be helpful because you can update your processes, update your offerings based on the things that you learned today. Using product management helps you offer better service to your clients and get better results for your clients so they stay clients for a longer period of time. Now, when you talk about product management, most people use the 3-pillar model to talk about product management. So the first pillar is product discovery. So you talk about, what are the customer's needs, and what is the competitive landscape, and what's the assessment of opportunity that you have within that competitive landscape. Then you move on to the second pillar, which is product planning. And now that you've covered the first pillar, you start to think about the vision of your product. And you think about which elements should be prioritized because they're more important and more impactful. And you think about the roadmap for your product. Where are you going with it? What are you doing with it? What is the end goal? And then you finish with the final pillar of product development, where you actually define the requirements of what you're going to do and start to create that service or that product, and then test it, and then improve it through iterative optimization. Okay, cool. That's a lot of fluff and BS, and you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't really help me a whole lot. And that's right. I don't really like that model. I like the 7-stage concept of product management much better. It's a much more detailed approach, and it fits better for agencies, because product management usually revolves around, software or some physical product and not a service. So I like this approach because it fits agencies better. So the first step is market research. You have to understand your customers' needs, and you've got to think, who are your target clients? And you got to think about particular verticals. Are you going to specialize in a particular vertical, or are you going to serve all verticals? And what's the competition look like? Once you've decided all of that, what's that competitive landscape, either within that vertical or wide across every possibility? Step 2 is then idea management. You got to brainstorm the ideas that will solve the problems that you identified in the first step. So you work methodically through all the opportunities that you identified, and then plan solutions that will meet your potential customers' needs. Then you move on to the next step of technical specs. So you got to translate those needs into actions for your clients. So you want to create requirements for your product, which basically means you're creating a prototype outline of your product. So what's the prototype service going to look like? Then you got to go into road mapping and actually build out that service. So from that kind of outline that you've written, you flesh it out, and you look at the vision, and you give more strength, more depth to that product outline, and talk about the strategic objectives that you need to meet and that you need to figure out how you're going to achieve with this process that you're fleshing out. So you basically think of it like this. You know where you're going, but there's multiple ways that you can get there. So you've got to think through the possible ways that you can achieve that final goal and figure out what's going to work best for your agency. Then you move on to prioritization, and that's where you're prioritizing the elements of the actual work that you're going to be doing. So you've got all these proposed solutions, and you've got multiple roadmaps based on possibilities. You've got to figure out which one's going to work the best. Or you may have multiple options that will work well, because you want to provide value to your clients so that those clients stay happy and stay with you. So in general, think about content, link building, technical SEO, your local SEO, Google Business Profile stuff, your reviews, your citations, any elements based on, what kind of SEO you're doing, and figure out what you're going to prioritize in each of those elements, or of all of those elements. Then you move on to product development. You actually start doing stuff in this step. So we've gone through 5 steps before you're actually doing anything. And this is where traditional project management kicks in. So you can see we're multiple steps in before project management even starts. That's what the difference is. You've got to have that conceptualization bit at the beginning there. For SEO, that's actually creating your offering and documenting your process so that you know exactly what needs to be done for that specific service/product. Then final step, you release and iterate. So then you're going to run tests and update your product, which means basically you do SEO for real world clients, and then you reiterate based on feedback that you get from those clients. So use that process, stick to the process, monitor your results, and talk to your clients and collect feedback on how it's working. So when I started at SearchLab was treating SEO basically like paid search. It was a typical team-based agency setup with different people handling ongoing work. So some people were SEOs, some people were content, and then you had account managers, and it was kind of split up, and different people would touch different accounts every month. And they treated clients like paid search because each client had a monthly budget, and the deliverables related to that monthly budget were completely up to the consultants, and there was no oversight. It was a black hole of each consultant could do whatever they wanted to do, but hey, they may not be working that account next month, and somebody else might swing in and not really understand what's going on. And there was no real strategy other than doing stuff to use up the entire budget. So it would literally come towards the end of the month and somebody would go, oh, there's another $1,000 of budget for this guy. Let's go do some link building, or let's go create some content. So I came in and I tore it all down. And I said we needed to be more purposeful with what we did. And we needed to be able to set things up so that it would be easier for us to scale successfully. We knew the major pain points of the potential clients that we were targeting. So we centered in on the particular vertical, which in this case was automotive. And we knew the pain points because we knew what they were looking for, we knew what they weren't getting, and we knew what the competition was offering. So then we could create an SEO service that addressed those pain points. So we switched to a boutique setup where now, instead of having multiple team members from multiple teams do things for clients every month, each team member owned everything related to a client. So one person does all the content, all the link building, all the Google Business Profile stuff, all the review stuff, and that's the person that talks directly to the client. And then we use a tactical framework that I created for every client to ensure that certain things are done monthly, because with the budget setup where it was totally up to people, you could do content 1 month and then not touch content again for 6 months if you felt like doing optimization or link building instead. Or maybe you just didn't do link building ever because you didn't really like link building, so you used that entire budget on content and optimization. Using that tactical framework ensured that every month we're going to have optimization on the site done, we're going to have new content added, we're going to do link building, we're going to do Google Business Profile stuff, and we're going to do review stuff. But within that tactical framework, each consultant has strategic leeway. So the tactical framework is the nuts and bolts of here's what you have to do every month, but the custom side comes in on the strategy of, okay, cool, you know you need to do content, but what's the actual content going to be? Or you know you need to optimize, but what are you actually going to optimize? And we really focused on customer service because so many agencies just do SEO and they don't really care about the customer service side. But guess what? The customer service side is a big part of what we do, because if you give great customer service and your clients are happy and you've got a good rapport, that goes a long way towards keeping a client around if results aren't as great as that client's expecting, or, you know, in a bad situation if they're not getting good results, because they just need to know that you're in their corner and that you actually care and you're not just another number on a sheet. We made it really easy through all of this process and touch points to make sure that clients could see that we were really different, that we really did address all of those pain points that they were experiencing with our competition. And the boutique setup also made it easier for us to scale and still get great results, because there was more oversight and there was more continuity and more consistency in our product, instead of, hey, let's just go do whatever SEO we want to do. It resulted in massive, massive sales for us, millions and millions of dollars of sales. And definite difference in increased retention of clients. So when I started at the end of 2019, our revenue was at about $1 million a year annualized. And at the beginning of 2020, we had our annual planning meeting and we set a 3-year goal to end 2022 at 3 million annualized. So over 3 years, we would add 2 million in revenue. Instead of ending 2022 at 3 million, we ended 2022 at 8.5 million annualized. So I'm pretty sure that change kind of worked out for us. So in conclusion, remember to take a step back and look at your services and your agency like a noob that knows nothing about using an agency and has zero history or understanding of what that process looks like. Follow those 7 steps of product management, update your services, and you will win in the long run. Thanks for sitting through the fire hose of information. Hopefully now you won't be down and depressed when you're thinking about SEO and how to deliver great products and services to your clients, because I gave you all these hot tips. And no, that's not the same joke, because this is Ghostwriter 2. I just think it's a funny pun. So, hey, now you'll no longer be the underdog and everyone will be happy. That was product management, the secret to being an SEO superhero. There's my email address. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I have an open email policy. I always like to help people be better at what they do. So just pop me an email. I do travel a lot. It may take me a bit to get back to you, but I will answer your question. And if you'd like a copy of the slides at the end, as always, there is a list of all the movies by order of release date. Thanks for watching. Thanks so much for sticking around to watch the whole presentation. That's definitely all the time we've got left for this week's episode, so you know what that means. Put your hand on the screen right here. We totally just high-fived because you learned something awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of Local Search Tuesdays.